Magnesium is the supplement of the moment. Every wellness influencer is telling you to take it. For sleep, for anxiety, for focus, for, honestly, everything. And here's the thing, they're not completely wrong. Most people really are deficient. The science on that is solid. But there's a problem nobody is talking about. Most of you are buying the wrong form. And the difference between the right magnesium and the wrong one isn't subtle. It's the difference between actually absorbing it and flushing your money down the toilet. Literally. I went through the clinical trials, randomized, placebo-controlled, the real stuff. And what I found is that the magnesium conversation online has the right instinct, but terrible execution. By the end of this, you'll know exactly which form to buy, which to avoid, and which one is being massively overhyped right now. All the studies I reference are linked in the description. Go check them yourself. Let's start with why magnesium actually matters, because the scope of this mineral is honestly staggering. Magnesium is involved in over 600 enzymatic reactions in your body. 600. It's not some niche micronutrient. It plays a role in energy production, protein synthesis, muscle and nerve function, blood sugar regulation, blood pressure. The list goes on. Your brain relies on magnesium for neurotransmitter regulation and synaptic plasticity, which is your brain's ability to form and strengthen connections. Every time you learn something, every time you consolidate a memory during sleep, magnesium is part of that process. So when people say magnesium is important, that's actually an understatement. Now here's where it gets concerning. Roughly 20% of the general population consistently consumes less magnesium than the estimated average requirement. And that number gets worse in specific groups. 30 to 40% of postmenopausal women show clinically low magnesium levels. Older adults, even worse. People on processed food diets, significantly worse. And here's the tricky part. Standard blood tests almost never catch this. Serum magnesium only reflects about 1% of your total body magnesium. The rest is locked inside your bones, muscles, and cells. You can be genuinely deficient, and your blood work looks perfectly normal. Your doctor checks your magnesium, sees a number in range, and tells you you're fine. Meanwhile, your cells are running on empty. This is why the research community increasingly uses something called the Magnesium Depletion Score, a tool that estimates your risk of deficiency based on lifestyle factors rather than relying on a blood draw that misses 99% of your stores. So the first half of the influencer message, "You probably need more magnesium," is actually correct for a lot of people. The problem starts with what they tell you to buy. Here's what most magnesium content online gets wrong. They treat magnesium like it's one thing. It's not. Magnesium always comes bound to another molecule, and that molecule determines everything. How much you absorb, where it goes, what it actually does. Let me walk you through the main forms. Magnesium oxide. This is the most common form you'll find on pharmacy shelves. It's cheap. It has the highest elemental magnesium per capsule, which looks great on the label. But here's the data. A 2003 randomized trial. 46 participants, 60 days, compared magnesium oxide to magnesium citrate and amino acid chelate. Magnesium oxide showed no significant difference from placebo in absorption. None. A 2017 crossover study confirmed it. Citrate was absorbed significantly better than oxide, with measurably higher serum levels at multiple time points. So the form that most people buy, the one that looks like the best value, is the one your body barely absorbs. Magnesium citrate. This is the consistent winner in bioavailability research. Multiple head-to-head trials show it outperforms oxide and sulfate. It's well absorbed, widely available, and reasonably priced. If your goal is simply to correct a deficiency, and for most people that is the goal, citrate is the most evidence-backed choice. Magnesium glycinate, also called bis-glycinate. This is the form the sleep community has latched onto, and there's now a real trial to talk about. A 2025 randomized controlled trial, 155 adults with poor sleep, tested 250 milligrams of magnesium bisglycinate against placebo. The result? A significant reduction in insomnia severity by week 4. The effect size was small, but it was real. And here's the key detail. The benefit was largest in participants with low baseline dietary magnesium intake. Sound familiar? Same pattern as creatine in episode 1. The people who benefit most are the people who were deficient to begin with. But glycinate has something else going for it. The glycine molecule it's bound to is itself an inhibitory neurotransmitter. It has calming properties independent of the magnesium. So you're getting a 2-for-1. That's not marketing. That's chemistry. Now, magnesium L-threonate. This is the premium one, the one every biohacking influencer is pushing, the one that costs 3 to 5 times more than citrate, and the claims are big. Better memory, sharper cognition, younger brain age. The pitch is that threonate crosses the blood-brain barrier more effectively than other forms, allowing it to raise magnesium levels inside the brain itself, not just in your blood. And that part is actually supported by preclinical data. Animal studies show threonate can increase brain magnesium concentrations by about 15%. That's a real mechanism. The question is whether that mechanism translates to real cognitive improvements in humans. So, what does the research actually show? There are 2 key trials. A 2022 study tested a threonate-based formula on 109 healthy Chinese adults. They found significant improvements across all 5 categories of a clinical memory test after 30 days. Sounds impressive, until you read the fine print. The formula wasn't just threonate. It also contained phosphatidylserine, vitamin C, and vitamin D. You cannot attribute those results to threonate alone. The second trial is cleaner. A 2026 randomized controlled trial, 100 adults, tested 2 grams per day of magnesium L-threonate against placebo for 6 weeks. The results? Significant improvement in overall cognitive performance, a 7.5-year reduction in estimated brain cognitive age, and improved reaction time. Working memory and episodic memory showed the largest effects. That is genuinely interesting. But there are caveats. This is a single clean trial. The sample was adults with self-reported poor sleep, not a general population. And the company that makes Magtine funded the research. I'm not saying the results are wrong. I'm saying they're preliminary. One well-designed trial is the beginning of evidence, not the end of it. And I want to be transparent about something, because this is exactly the kind of detail that most influencers skip. Both of these threonate trials were funded by the company that manufactures Magtine. That doesn't invalidate the research. Industry-funded trials can be well-designed and properly controlled. But it does mean we need independent replication before treating these findings as settled science. That's just how this works. So here's where the online conversation completely breaks down. Influencers present this as a simple hierarchy. Threonate is the best because it crosses the blood-brain barrier more effectively. Glycinate is for sleep. Citrate is basic. Oxide is garbage. The reality is messier and more useful. For most people, the ones who are simply not getting enough magnesium from their diet, the form matters less than the fact that you're taking any well-absorbed form. Citrate, glycinate, chloride, All of these have demonstrated good bioavailability. Pick one. Take it consistently. That solves the actual problem. For sleep specifically, Glycinate has the best combination of evidence and mechanism. The magnesium helps. The glycine helps. The 2025 trial supports it, and it's well tolerated. It doesn't cause the digestive issues that citrate can at higher doses. For cognition specifically, Threonate is the only form with direct brain-focused clinical data. But the evidence base is thin, the cost is high, and you're essentially paying a premium to be an early adopter of a hypothesis that still needs replication. And for anxiety, a 2017 systematic review looked at 18 studies on magnesium and subjective anxiety. The finding: positive effects in anxiety-vulnerable samples, but the quality of evidence was poor. Most studies had small sample sizes. Multiple forms were used. The honest conclusion: magnesium probably helps with mild anxiety, particularly if your levels are already low. But it's not a replacement for clinical treatment. Here's my take. Stop buying magnesium based on influencer recommendations. Start buying it based on what you're actually trying to fix. If you're correcting a general deficiency, and statistically, many of you are, magnesium citrate, 300 to 400 milligrams of elemental magnesium per day. It's well absorbed, it's cheap, and it has the deepest evidence base for bioavailability. If your main issue is sleep, magnesium glycinate, 200 to 400 milligrams before bed. You get the magnesium plus, the calming effect of glycine. The data supports it, especially if your dietary intake is already low. If your primary interest is cognitive performance, magnesium L-threonate is the only form with direct brain data. But understand that you're paying a premium for one clean trial and a promising hypothesis. That might be worth it to you. Just know where the evidence actually stands. And if you're currently taking magnesium oxide, stop. Switch to literally any organic form. You're paying for a supplement your body barely absorbs. The verdict is this: magnesium is one of the few supplements where the hype is actually behind the science. The deficiency is real, the benefits are real, but the form you choose is everything. It's not whether you take magnesium, it's which one and why. If this changed how you think about your supplement stack, send it to one person who's still buying oxide off the pharmacy shelf. I'm Marcus. This is The Correspondent. I read the research so you don't have to, but I always link it so you can.